welcome to MojoPlays, and we can't believe our own eyes at how incredible these games look on the PS5.
So is that everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, can't deny that view.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
What? Did you really think you could capture me?
Cal Kestis' journey on the run through a galaxy far, far away is far from over, and in Jedi Survivor, he visits some of the most impressively detailed and unique worlds of any Star Wars video game ever. While the game did suffer performance issues at launch, the beauty of George Lucas's vision was beautifully recreated with stunning detail, and the upgraded character models allowed Cal and his companions to convey their extremely emotional journey splendidly. Lightsaber battles had more ferocity, the number of areas open to explore was greatly expanded, with each new area feeling like a completely new biome. After some much needed updates, Star Wars Jedi Survivor looks and feels like the closest we've ever been to the world of Star Wars outside of George Lucas's epics.
A Jedi.
Remind our friend here why his kind are supposed to be dead.
Returnal.
I have found a deceased Astro Scout here. Checking identification on helmet. It's...
Alongside the Demon's Souls remake, Returnal was one of the first PS5 exclusives to show off what the system was capable of. Developer Housemarque masterfully adapted their bullet hell shooter formula to a third-person perspective, and along with one of the most hauntingly beautiful art styles this side of Bloodborne, there is still nothing like Returnal on the PS5. Every environment felt unique, with its own flora and fauna as well as some truly unsettling enemy designs. Despite the game's punishing difficulty at times, the world demanded to be explored right down to every single nook and cranny as players attempted to unravel the mystery of protagonist Celine's time loop. With gorgeous cinematics to flesh out the world and its backstory, more than just the compulsion for one more run kept players engaged in this Lovecraftian nightmare.
Astra! Is anyone listening? It's Celine. We're both trapped.
Black Myth Wukong.
All I ever wanted was a life in my mountain, free from you and your so-called merits.
Game Science immediately made the gaming world stand up and take notice with their jaw-dropping reveal trailer for Black Myth Wukong back in 2020, and after an upgrade to Unreal Engine 5, the game was even more stunning. Everything from the character of Monkey himself to the world design is meticulously detailed, and each new area feels completely different and unique from the next. Despite the realistic interpretation of the classic Chinese novel, the outrageous and creative enemy designs, particularly the bosses, feel tangible and part of this fantastical mythological world. With impressive physics and screen-filling particle effects, the game never ceases to impress, and the world of Journey to the West has never been so beautiful. Even more impressive, this is Game Science's first true AAA release, and they managed to put many other developers with massive development teams to shame.
Order has been restored. You are the sole worthy one.
Tekken 8. Fighting games have always been a technical showcase for a game's system's capabilities, but even with that in mind, Tekken 8 continues to set the bar for not only graphics, but unmatched fighting game mechanics. The first game in the series developed in Unreal Engine 5, Bandai Namco made the most out of the new tech, demonstrating their unmatched prowess in the fighting game genre. Classic fighters look better than ever, and the stages and arenas are awash with particles and lighting effects constantly filling the screen, making each match feel like a summer blockbuster spectacle. Background details deserve a special highlight, making every fighting ground feel distinct and every fight feel more alive as crowds of people cheer in the background or cities crumble. Every blow feels impactful thanks to screen-filling effects, and the cinematic presentation gives every fighter greater depth and detail thanks to their updated character designs.
Without heart, strength means nothing.
Alan Wake 2.
First things first. What's your name?
My name is Alan Wake.
Remedy and their proprietary Northlight engine has proved to be one of the most impressive in the industry, and Alan Wake 2 is undeniably the engine's greatest achievement. Remedy has long blended the use of live action into their games, and with Alan Wake 2, the blend between the two can oftentimes be indiscernible. The world of the Dark Place is appropriately unsettling, heightening the terror of Alan's predicament of being trapped inside a nightmare. While Bright Falls and its surrounding areas have received significant upgrades in the decades since the original Alan Wake, the darkness feels appropriately oppressive, forcing players to rely heavily on their trusty flashlight to cut through the encroaching dark. Each environment is brimming with impressive detail, bringing the world of Alan Wake to life and making the town of Bright Falls feel like a tangible place you could visit, even if you would never want to.
And I thought this place couldn't get any stranger.
Dead Space. The Nightmare of Dead Space received a dramatic facelift in 2023, and honestly, we've been hiding under our covers ever since. The decaying Ishimura is hauntingly beautiful, full of broken and bloodied corridors that now, thanks to the overhauled lighting, feel especially oppressive and claustrophobic. The once samey hallways now feel like a ship designed for hundreds of crew members, and traveling to each new area feels distinct, making it much easier to navigate the dimly lit halls without getting completely turned around. The disturbing necromorphs have received special attention and updates to their design, crafting the nightmarish blend of human and alien hybrid things we always feared were hiding around the next darkened corridor back in 2008. The new gore effects also add additional depth, and make each encounter more nail-biting than the last as the redesigned monstrosities relentlessly hunt Isaac until their last limb is severed. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
A living, breathing planet. Even after everything we've done to it, it's still going strong.
The remake of Final Fantasy VII has continued to impress on a scale longtime fans could only hope for, and Rebirth has set a new bar for not only the continuation of the remake trilogy, but for the Final Fantasy franchise. Levels and areas longtime fans were intimately familiar with were brought to life in ways players could have only dreamed of, dripping with brand new details and the vibrancy we always imagined the game to have all the way back in 1997. Cloud and his companions look better than they did in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and leaving Midgard behind gave players more variety in the environments they can explore, all oozing with personality and beautiful details just waiting to be uncovered. The remake trilogy's flashy combat has also been updated, giving players access to even bigger and more powerful spells, all of which explode on the screen in eye-watering spectacle.
Did you miss us? Cloud? Something wrong?
No, nothing.
Cyberpunk 2077.
How can I help?
Really? Starting to get used to it.
To many, Cyberpunk felt like the true next generation of gaming, brought to us by the talented team behind the immaculate Witcher 3. And while Cyberpunk 2077 did set the gaming world on fire for all the wrong reasons, CD Projekt continued to update the game to the point it not only runs better than ever before, but looks even better than their original tech demo that set the hype train in motion. With the Phantom Liberty DLC, the world of Night City got a complete overhaul, rivaling the neon and rain-soaked streets of the Blade Runner films. In every way imaginable, Cyberpunk was updated from its original form, perfectly assimilating with the world obsessed with upgrades. More realistic lighting effects and reflections, screen-filling particle effects, impressive character animations, as well as flashy new abilities bring the world of Cyberpunk 2077 to life the way the developers and players always envisioned.
Even deep wounds stop hurting eventually. Scar over. A few years on, they're just an itch.
Astro Bot. Astro Bot is quickly becoming the de facto mascot for Sony and PlayStation, and for good reason. The worlds Team Asobi have created are not only visual spectacles, but also brimming with little details all reminiscent of PlayStation's long and storied legacy. Backgrounds explode with personality, and each level and bot are downright charming, full of individuality that will bring a smile to even the most jaded of gamers. The special levels dedicated to specific games from Sony's catalog deserve special appreciation, as the devs managed to capture the look and feel of each game's world, while adding their own astrofied twist to the formula fans know and love. Astro Bot is not only a visual stunner for the PS5, and one of the greatest and most inventive platformers this side of Mario, but also a playable tour of PlayStation's library. Stellar Blade.
What's going on here?
I told you were gonna like this.
Another game from a dev taking their first steps into AAA gaming, Shift Up's Stellar Blade instantly caught the attention of gamers with its stunning protagonist and fast-paced blend of Devil May Cry and Souls-like combat. Set on an apocalyptic Earth, the desolated and destroyed landscape is impressive, with dilapidated and collapsing buildings becoming reclaimed by nature, set against the backdrop of a futuristic alien invasion. Particular appreciation should be given to the character designs, the main protagonist Eve in particular, whose design caused much undue controversy over her revealing design and outfits. The enemies are also varied while remaining distinctly alien. Specific abilities allow for flashy combat and over-the-top finishing moves, displaying impressive levels of liquid and particle physics. Despite running on the aging Unreal Engine 4, Stellar Blade is an impressive debut from a new studio and a visually stunning title for the PS5.
I customized the power distribution of the body cell. Doesn't your body feel lighter?
Something does feel different.
Gran Turismo 7. Polyphony Digital has always been on the cusp of realism when it comes to their renowned Gran Turismo series. And with Gran Turismo 7, they might have finally achieved the photorealism they've been chasing since the days of the PS1. Every car is lovingly crafted with so much detail, car magazines could use screenshots of the game, and only the most ardent of car enthusiasts would be able to tell the difference. Watching the light perfectly reflect off your shiny speed machine is breathtaking every time, and the game's realistic weather effects even affect the way your car handles on the track. This attention to detail is reflected in the game's mini tracks as well, although you'd be hard-pressed to notice all the minor details as you whip around at breakneck speeds. If Polyphony ever nails down the human NPCs, you'd be hard-pressed to tell these races aren't real. Fort Solis.
Drinking on the job?
Nothing wrong with staying hydrated out here.
We both know that wasn't water.
Fort Solis represents a great proof of concept for what developers of any caliber can accomplish with Epic's newest tech. The world of Fort Solis feels real and lived in, with much of the old base coming apart at the seams and clearly seeing better days, having weathered the many storms on the surface of Mars. Fort Solis also features some of the most realistic facial animations we've ever seen in a game, perfectly conveying every character's emotion and facial twitches. The game might be on the shorter side and oftentimes feel like an interactive movie, but the attention to detail and realistic design of the base, as well as its look at life on Mars, is undoubtedly one of the most visually impressive experiences we've seen.
Oh, I chose the wrong profession.
Resident Evil 4.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
The original Resident Evil 4 graphically still holds up pretty well today, but what Capcom was able to accomplish with their impressive RE engine is nothing short of remarkable. Managing to maintain what made the original so iconic, while also making the world vastly more detailed and in some cases more horrific, the Resident Evil 4 remake instantly became one of the standout releases on the PS5. Watching the Las Plagas parasite mutate its hosts into grotesque forms is shocking every time, and the environments Leon finds himself exploring are appropriately unsettling and foreboding. Lighting effects have also been greatly overhauled, with Leon's flashlight oftentimes being the only light source cutting through the darkness. Character models received significant upgrades, Ashley in particular, but Capcom didn't dare mess with Leon's luscious locks, which now look better than ever in 4K. Now that is a beautiful man.
You're gonna be okay.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Insomniac's 2018 revival of Spider-Man was already a showcase piece for the aging PS4, and Miles Morales, despite being cross-gen, still managed to impress with its impressive lighting and detailed open world. However, for Spider-Man 2, Insomniac managed to create a New York that felt like the real, living, breathing city that Spidey calls home. With updated character models and animations, super detailed cityscapes that whiz by at lightning speed as you swing between skyscrapers, in addition to all new areas of New York to explore, Spider-Man 2 set a new benchmark for the Big Apple in gaming. The upgraded power of the PS5 gave players ultra-realistic reflections and somehow even better lighting, with Coney Island being a particular standout. With new modes of travel for the Spider-Man and lightning-fast fast travel, players were able to explore New York so detailed, many could find their way around the city just by landmarks alone.
We're going to heal everyone.
Horizon Forbidden West: The Burning Shores.
Were you actually flying just now?
Yeah, just, not my best landing.
While the base game Horizon Forbidden West is no slouch and also a visual stunner on the PS5, we're choosing to focus on the recent PS5 exclusive DLC, The Burning Shores. Without the last-gen PS4 holding Guerrilla back, The Burning Shores gives players a glimpse at what the Decima engine is truly capable of when it's set loose. The environments feel more densely populated, and character models, even the background NPCs, have more detail to them, and Burning Shores features some of the most beautiful water graphics we've ever seen in a video game. New and familiar machines got a facelift and featured even greater designs for players to dismantle. Not to mention that final and long-awaited encounter with the Horus remains grander in scope and scale than anything in the series thus far. Demon's Souls.
So that you may lull the old one back to slumber.
The masters of the remakes and remasters, Bluepoint Games held nothing back in updating From Software's PS3 classic that launched the franchise, Demon's Souls. A launch title for the PS5, many more recent titles still haven't been able to compare with the updated Boletaria. Formerly low-resolution boss encounters are now spectacles, full of disgusting attention to detail, and the game's lighting effects have almost no equal on the console even almost 3 years later. Although a from-the-ground-up remake, Bluepoint managed to maintain the feel of the original game much like they did with their other recent remake, Shadow of the Colossus, but give it a fresh, beautiful upgrade befitting of the title's place in From Software's growing catalog.
A brave new hero of unprecedented power.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
A Lombax? What is this place?
Insomniac is back again, living up to their studio mantle, and only a year after their impressive PS5 debut with Miles Morales. Ever since the early days of the PS2, Insomniac had been chasing the Pixar-quality graphics, and as the film studio continued to master their craft, so too did Insomniac, and with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, they may have even surpassed the benchmark. Each world is visually distinct and full of character, from glowing neon signs to dusty forgotten mining planets, and even one that has players jumping back and forth through time. The studio's brilliant world building and art direction reflect just how capable the studio is. It doesn't hurt that every character has also received a massive upgrade as well to help convey the studio's emotional tale, and the game's titular rift mechanic that allows players to seamlessly jump between worlds is endlessly entertaining.
You think a crushing defeat is all it takes to stop me?
I mean, yes?
Final Fantasy XVI.
Nice trick. But if you can do it, then so could I!
There was quite a lot of discourse around the fact that Final Fantasy XVI was going to be a PS5 exclusive, but once players got their hands on the title, it made a lot more sense. PS4 just simply couldn't run it. The scale of some of the encounters Clive and his companions encounter is unlike anything seen in the series, and the fact that all these sections are playable is still mind-blowing. With a gorgeous world to explore full of incredibly designed enemies, as well as a more grounded take on even the most fantastical elements of the game, Final Fantasy XVI not only plays unlike any other mainline Final Fantasy game, but its uniquely detailed world and characters make it a stunner in a series known for its graphics. And all those seemingly impossible climactic boss battles? Mwah, chef's kiss. God of War Ragnarok.
Allfather hath plans for him.
God of War 2018 was already a stunner on the PS4, and somehow, even with Ragnarok on the horizon, Kratos' second Norse adventure managed to be even more impressive. With Fimbulwinter freezing over the Lake of Nine, the endless blizzard gave way to some of the most stunning vistas in the series to date as Kratos and Atreus travel to realms untouched by the prophesized Ragnarok, and boss fights that called back to the enormity of the Greek saga. Every new area the father-son duo explores is more jaw-dropping than the last, with Ironwood and the Spark of the World being true standouts. Kratos and Atreus and the rest of their companions all received significant upgrades as well, better conveying their emotions down to the smallest detail and lending further gravitas to the unfolding events of Ragnarok. Not even the PS4 could hold back the true power of the God of War.
That's what comes next.
The Last of Us Part 1.
Not her, you know.
What?
Maria told me about Sarah.
Ellie?
And
You are treading on some mighty thin ice here.
While many bemoaned Naughty Dog remaking a game that was barely 10 years old, there's no denying The Last of Us Part 1 is a visual showcase for not only the studio, but also the PS5. With the updates to character models, Naughty Dog was able to better capture the performances of Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson and bring their characters to life in a way the PS3 and even the remaster couldn't. The world Joel and Ellie explore feels more weathered and overgrown with plants reclaiming roads and buildings, and the true weight of a world in decline is on full display. Updates to the lighting as well as the infected themselves make exploring the world even more unsettling, and hearing the faint chirping of the clickers in the distance of a pitch-black room is enough to make even the most seasoned players' blood run cold. Did we forget your favorite visual showcase for the PS5? Share your picks in the comments. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.